Hello, my name is host Eric, and I'm going to talk today with my assembled friends here in the audience, including famous people Megabro, Milkman, Omnia, Otnahil, QB Sauce, Nandi, and Callum, and my supervisor, INFP listener. So, I am going to talk today about what gets different types all worked up. Well, I've heard from a couple different people and from sources that one way to get an ENTJ all worked up is to tell them that they're doing something wrong and there's no way to fix it. So that apparently gets them quite frustrated. Just be like, yeah, well, you're just not going to be able to do this thing. I mean, it's just not really your strength, and you're doing it wrong, and there's no way you're going to be able. Well, what can I do to do it correctly? It's just not something that you're really going to be able to do. I got to find a different person to do it because you're not good enough at it by nature. Okay, well, there's got to be some sort of set of protocols I can implement here in which I can become good at this. You've got to let me know how to do it. All right? You can imagine the ENTJ getting very worked up about that. I wouldn't blame him. I'd be a little worked up about that myself. What gets the INFJ worked up, Nandi? You got anything in mind that gets you upset?
Yeah. Well, I have an ESFP brother, and we get into arguments every single day about the pettiest stuff. Like, earlier today, my brother, compared to me, he's really illogical about a lot of the stuff that he does. And he's, like, not intuitive at all, and it pisses me off. Anyway, he was saying something about how Pokemon Go was really dangerous. And how, like, people shouldn't play it and, like, it's their fault, or it's the game's fault that they're, like, getting hurt and stuff. He was like, that's not even true. He was like, somebody got killed over Pokemon Go. I was like, that is bullshit. And he'd only seen, like, one news report online about something saying, like, there was a murder involving the game. And I was like, it didn't even, like, the game wasn't even the cause of the murder or whatever. And that's not even, like, a thing that they've proven yet. But he was like, it's their fault, so we just got into this ridiculous argument, and it was really annoying. And I was like, stop being so, like, illogical and use more facts, and, like, go online and get smarter, and I hate it. Anyway, also, I discovered recently that I have an ESTJ coworker at my job. And I had to work with her all day yesterday. It was the most miserable thing in my life. Oh my gosh. I hated it. She like tries to, so we're working with 2-year-olds. So she tries to treat the 2-year-olds like she treats her coworkers, you know, with like the least amount of emotion, I guess, like emotional attachment or whatever. It's like, you can't do that with 2-year-olds. And she's like extremely controlling of her environment. And she like has charts up everywhere. And she's like trying to keep tabs on everything and like control how everything is going. And she like yells at the 2-year-olds and is always grabbing them by the arms and like, you can't do this. Like, you're gonna hurt them.
You can't do that.
You need to show them more emotion. I mean, like, she's not like actually hurting them, but like sometimes she lets her emotions get the best of her because 2-year-olds are annoying as hell. But
that's not the right type for that position. She needs to be.
It's really not. Like sometimes her extroverted thing comes in handy. Because one time my boss came in and she was like, "Do you guys have your teams made up?" And she was like, "Yes." I was like, "Thank God," because otherwise we wouldn't have had our teams made up. So that was the one time that it came in handy. But all the other times, it's really annoying. I'm like, it doesn't need to be this structured, but okay.
Okay, Callum, do you got anything to tell us about ENTP frustrations? Or INTP? You say you're ENTP, I'll take your word for it. Well, let me go on to Lorenz Walker while Callum's typing, if he has anything to say. Milkman. Okay.
Say anything about what exactly?
Well, what gets you worked up? What gets the INTP worked up? It's hard to get you guys worked up.
ESFJ behavior.
I mean, that's your tool, though.
I don't care.
So, what? Describe to me an example of ESFJ behavior that upsets you.
Um, Feelings over logic, uh, being irrational, not wanting to get into a debate.
I don't want to get into a debate about it, Lorenz.
Or no, well, yeah, it's like they want it to be one-sided.
Lorenz, I've explained my position. I don't want to get into a debate about it.
Well, even though like I don't even want to talk about it or converse, which is what I would like to do, actually work it out instead of it being one-sided.
Right. So, when you get worked up, do you display emotions, or is it just more? Is it just slightly louder INTP?
Yeah, it's just frustrated probably.
Okay. Um. Well, let's see here. Who else is in this room? We've got Omniot Nihil. You got anything to say about this? What type are you anyway? INTP? Yeah,
Everything
INTP.
is lost.
Got any thoughts on this? What gets you worked up? And if you do get worked up, do you actually display emotion? High contract under Guadalupe Fur Seal. Contract under Guadalupe Fur Seal. We are currently talking about what gets each type worked up. I don't remember what type you are, but if you have any thoughts on that, we'd love to hear them. Kiwi Sauce, you as well. I don't remember what type you are either. Is smashing everything in sight emotion? Yeah. That's emotion. Sure. Is that what gets you worked up, or how you get worked up? Or both? I mean, alright. I mean, worked up emotionally. Like, what gets you upset? Anybody else have any thoughts on this? I can do a couple more types that I know what would get my mother upset as an ISFJ. She didn't like sudden changes to things. She didn't like it when I'd be like, I know I wanted to do that, but I changed my mind. Now I want to do this. She didn't like that at all. She didn't like risky proposals. They got her upset. Like, I have an idea. Why don't I and my friends ride our bicycles down to the beach? No, no, no. That was very upsetting to her. So, those are the sort of things that I think upset an ISFJ mother. I think in regular life between adults, an ISFJ would probably be upset by somebody who doesn't keep appointments. Probably be upset by someone who doesn't respect their need to retreat periodically because they're an I.
ESFJs get riled up about disorder and lack of cleanliness.
Yeah, I like cleanliness too.
Things
So-
need to be proper.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this video on what gets some of the types to be covered, worked up. INTPs can get worked up for lots of different reasons. I mean, I can get worked up for because I'm feeling emotional. I can get worked up because I'm in a bad mood. I can get worked up because I haven't eaten recently. I can get worked up because somebody's really actually in my way substantially for no good reason. It's like sometimes I have real causes, but almost all the times I get worked up is just because I don't feel good in some way. You know? Gist of it. Yeah, well, Callum, if you don't get worked up that much, you're probably not an ENTP. ENTP get worked up a lot. You sound more like an INTP, but I don't know. It depends. They manifest differently. All right, well, thanks for watching. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.